Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kaushal. I am the regional business head at Freshworks, part of the enterprise sales team here. And today I'm very excited to talk about how AI can be leveraged for better workplace experiences. Uh, to start with, I will introduce Freshworks very briefly. So Freshworks is a global publicly listed SaaS provider having leading solutions around customer experience and employee experience. We've been in this space for about 13 years, working with more than 65,000 companies across industries in more than 120 plus countries, right? Our solutions are born in the cloud. At the same time, we take security very seriously, and which is why we've been able to earn the trust of very regulated industries like banking and financial services, healthcare, so on and so forth, right? Our solutions are rated and loved by leading analyst firms like Gartner. At Gartner, we're already an established challenger in both EX and CX portfolio solutions of ours, right? We have close to 5,000 employees in over 13 countries across the globe. So yeah, those are some of the, like I said, we work across industries. So those are some of the predominant companies that we work with. And our solutions have been able to solve use cases across industries, right? So in the next about 15 to 20 minutes, what I'm going to focus on primarily is on the disruption generative AI is already causing to multiple industries, multiple use cases, multiple technologies, with a specific focus on employee experience and talking about ID service management and enterprise service management and what possibilities AI can have within this space, right? And I think it's no surprise we all have been witnessing the trends and the use cases that generative AI has been powering. And I think leading firms and companies are talking about that. On the positive side, it's really powerful and can really amplify how companies do business better, keep their employees happy, keep their customers happy, and do more with less, right? So I think it's a really positive disruption if I were to look at it. And if leveraged well, I think it can lead to a lot of positive incremental business impact, right? So while over the years, first with COVID and then with multiple slowdowns, what we are witnessing is while companies are practicing prudence with respect to what to invest and how much to invest, there are still use cases which are forming part of the priority list for companies across the globe, across industries. And I'm going to talk about some of these. First is projects around how you can modernize your employee experience and customer experience suite of solutions is definitely our top priority. Companies are constantly looking at ways how they can keep their employees productive, keep their business uptime very high. At the same time, making sure how they can engage with their customers in a more meaningful manner, so that they're able to retain their customers and do more business with those customers. At the same time, across the enterprise, there is a constant lookout for what you can automate, right? And both for retaining top talent as well as making this top talent do quality work. AI and now generative AI is being looked at from an automation perspective. What can you automate? What mundane task can you automate? From a specifically IT service management standpoint, we're seeing a lot of consolidation happening, whether it is to a one vendor solution or even if it's a multi-vendor setup, how you can really make enterprise service management tools a nerve center of your organization and feed in information from either your monitoring tools or your other system to ensure a centralized visibility, right? Also, because there is a renewed focus over the last few years on profitability, we've seen how fundings have slowed down, how even startups have a lot of focus on profitability. There is the role of CFO has become very powerful, And there is a constant exercise to look at what is not being adopted well, what is not delivering value, and to cut that bloatware in terms of technology, right? At the same time, whatever you're investing on today, whether it is for powering your employees, customers, security, or whatever, right? The idea is to onboard solutions now which do not have a lot of dependency when you were to when you are supposed to make changes in future. At the same time, there is good adoption of these tools. I mean, there's no point having a fantastic technology that cannot be adopted well by your user community, right? So I'm going to talk about a few important areas where you talk about when you look at AI and specifically generative AI in the context of IT service management. Firstly, I think there is a lot of notion around that's going to eat up a lot of jobs. Maybe it will, right? But I think the true impact of generative AI can be leveraged in a very positive manner also. I think most companies on the positive side are looking at how uh, it can help employees do their work better, right? Things like if you talk about IT service management, uh, how you can retain top talent who is servicing your employee queries by not making them do redundant work. Let AI automate that. At the same time, this will also have a positive impact on retaining this top talent, right? So you are with tomorrow, and the companies who are even investing in any kind of technology and generative AI are companies who have a growth outlook, who are seeing growth in the next 2 to 3 years, and they're not looking at cutting employees right now. They are looking at ways on how they can use this and not add employees and still be able to power that growth, right? At the same time, this is not going to be easy with for leveraging generative AI or for leveraging the large language models that are the predominant foundation of using generative AI. There is a lot of data, right data that has to be fed into these models to be able to service your specific use cases, right? So, and a lot of organizations we feel are not ready for it. So to be able to extract the magic of Gen AI, you also have to do a lot of cleanup and consolidation of accumulating data from very disparate sources and use it to train these AI models before you start seeing magic from these, right? And specifically when we talk about IT service management and the power it is leveraging from Gen AI, I think it has only been around for last year or so, and whatever use cases we have seen in this space, right, have only, I believe, are only the tip of the iceberg, right? There is so much more that companies will iterate and bring up in future. And the foundational IT service managements have to be really agile and configurable to be able to even build these use cases in future. There is no point onboarding a IT service management tool which is very, very rigid and where time to market really goes for a toss the moment you think about building more use cases in future to automate a lot of things or to bring in a lot of productivity, right? So I think in the words of our CIO Prasad Ramakrishnan, the answer to sustainable business growth is not a more software; it's more efficient software. Software that is does not lead to a lot of bloat, software that can be implemented quickly, software that can be changed very quickly, and the software that can be adopted and has a lot of intuitive aspect. That's something that's going to be efficient and it's going to power sustainable business growth. Right. Now, we've done a bunch of study around generative AI and how companies are, what are some of the initial impressions of companies who are planning to use it or not use it. It's not going to be all hunky-dory, right? There are enough speculations and apprehensions that companies have cited, right? These are what you see on the screen are some of the initial impressions that companies and IT leaders have voiced out. 87% of IT pros still have an initial impression of employees. I mean, they're concerned about employees using generative AI. They see privacy issues and they still, which is right also, they still sort of doubt the accuracy of what these models or what these technologies throw up. because employees or users can really take this as granted and start using it. And a lot of times we've seen examples of inaccurate or rude communication, right? But at the same time, there is enough optimism also for which IT or for which IT is bullish on. And I'm going to talk about use cases from an ITSM perspective, IT service management perspective, that can really be transformed using the power of AI. First of all, the world is moving towards conversation. I mean, imagine your life to today when you are spending a lot of time on messaging platforms, even when you are ordering food or ordering something else, right? The way you're getting in touch with these brands in terms of resolving a query or raising an issue, whatever, is more and more moving towards conversation. And the same behavior or same mindset we as employees or we as individuals carry to our workplaces as well. So there is a lot of need, or there is a lot of demand for a conversational support even at the workplace, right? At the same time, and this is something that can be really transformed and powered through generative AI. We're going to talk about that a little bit more, right? At the same time, this really helps you standardize the SOPs or provide a certain level of consistent service delivery across the enterprise, and not be dependent on nuances of every agent and how he has been trained, right? At the same time, and lastly, for the leaders who are supervising the health of the service desk, it can lead to a lot of proactive and again a very conversational insight into how your service desk is functioning and what demands your attention, right? And hence, IT leaders see a lot of positive impact of using generative AI. Vast majority of them have reported they've already started using this in some manner, and they really see productivity level impacts when use this for the right use cases. Okay. So we'll talk about how IT can leverage this for building and empowering their high performance workflows, right? So doubling down on some of the areas. So like I said, the future of employee experience is really zero touch and yet human. What I mean by that is, gone are the days when you really need to do a shoulder tap in an office. In a lot of cases, you're not even working from the office, you're working from either your home or some other location, right? Those flexibilities companies have started giving, right? So either ways, the way you interact with different departments, whether for your IT issues or something, or any service that you want to request, can be very, very conversational. At the same time, very, very contextual. Without involving a human at the other end, you can get instant conversation led and a very contextual response or support, and which feels very, very human like. So that's really the future. And that's with the emergence of, say, communication platforms like Teams, Slack, so on and so forth at workplace for collaboration. We're seeing a lot of emergence of service delivery existing on these platforms where employees are anyway spending a lot of time. Okay. So this is where I want to introduce what Freshworks is really doing in this space. So Freshworks, amongst our suite of solutions, we have employee experience solution called Freshservice. And without getting into a lot of details, it is a full-fledged IT and enterprise-wide service management. On the top, if you see, it not just powers IT service management, it can also power service delivery for other departments in your organization, and constitutes all the essential building blocks when you look at it from a ITIL standard perspective. So it can take care of your IT service management. It can take care of a business uptime when it integrates with your monitoring tools for application infra network. It has a full-fledged asset management that can take care of your hardware and software assets, right? And it also has capabilities where different teams who are working on IT projects can leverage this for tracking the life cycle of their projects. At the same time, like I said, this does not only powers the IT use cases, it can power the enterprise-wide use cases, right? And the lower two blocks are talk more about the capabilities that we built to power all these functionalities, right? So specifically focusing on AI, what we are able to do through Freshservice is we are able to transform the lives of these three stakeholders in your organization when we talk about enterprise service management through AI. And our native AI capability that we have built and have been enhancing for the last 5 years is called Freddy. And recently we've started, like I said, using the power of generative AI to enhance the outcomes more, right? So I'm going to talk about what we're doing specifically for each of these stakeholders, right? For employees, like I said, the experience can be very conversational, something they're doing outside their work life, and also coexisting on the platforms that are anyways using for communication like Teams and Slack. Some of the use cases that we built and rolled out are no longer you have to read the entire solution article, which is given through your service management application when you're trying to find something. You can just get the extract of that, or this generative AI model will only return an extract of the solution article that's relevant to your response. You can talk in multiple languages, which are non-English languages, and the AI model will figure out through multiple information available or fed into it and return a response to you in a language of your choice, right? This conversation that you're doing with AI is still very, very human and very, very contextual, right? At the same time, while a lot of this can be instant and can be resolved very fast, there would still be things that will require collaboration and needs to be ticketed, for which also you don't need to go through the old archaic form method. Through the inputs that are anyways collected through the way of a conversation, you can or this AI model, AI engine will raise a ticket for you or a service request for you that will be allocated to the relevant department for processing. So those are the initial things we've built or we're coming up in. There is more in store that we can obviously talk about. At the same time, a greater part of service desk would be on how your agents or how your technicians are using it to be able to resolve queries that have come to them, right? And there is so much more that generative AI can do to even make their lives more productive or easier, right? Some of the things can be based on how the model is trained, right? For the queries that this agent is handling, there can be reply suggesters, right? Through solution articles or through history of resolution information that is there in the tool, right? At the same time, there is obviously collaboration that happens while resolving a particular ticket, right? For that, you don't need to repeat stuff when you're handing over or there is a handshake happening. There are response summaries or there are resolution summaries that can be generated. That is what saves a lot of time, right? So you don't have to do any repeat stuff, and you can only do incremental stuff, and even get suggestions on doing that faster through response suggesters, right? And lastly, it's still very important for supervisors or leaders to constantly review the health of the service desk, what's working, what's not working. And that also is undergoing a lot of transformation. To typically looking at the health of the service desk is through older ways of looking at or scanning, say, multiple reports, very, very complex reports. This can also take the form of a conversational-led experience, right? Which can also be productive. So we build use cases where you can just come to the analytics section, and without you asking something or opening any report, the tool can itself suggest to you what needs your attention. It can tell you things like, okay, this particular agent group is missing SLAs, or these kind of high priority tickets are missing at SLAs. So without you scanning the standard metrics and seeing what is working, what is not working, it can automatically tell you what needs your attention. At the same time, if you still want to do a health check or a daily check, which you do as a supervisor, you don't still need to click a report and go through all the information. You can just type it like you type on WhatsApp or Teams or Slack. Tell me, give me this information. And it again can be a very conversational led experience, even from an insight standpoint, right? So those are some of the initial areas which we are transforming using the power of generative AI for different stakeholders when you talk about enterprise service management, right? And lastly, when you the top reasons why companies decide to partner with Freshworks when we talk about IT service management is, I think our motto has always been whatever products we build to make it very, very intuitive and very, very easy to adopt, right? So our solutions see a great adoption. At the same time, we've always had the focus of leveraging automation as much as possible, and we are only doing more with generative AI. Our solutions are scalable. They can integrate with best of the breed solutions in your organization. We are constantly building those integrations, as well as there is a lot of focus on how we can rapidly implement this, make it available to you, and also support you for further adoption of these tools in your organization. Thank you very much, and I had a lovely time presenting this to you. Thank you.